Howdy ho 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 everybody. Are you ready for the 2026 unnecessary video game fantasy draft? Joining me here today, we got Loon in the building. Are you ready to draft some video games, sir?
When we first did it, absolutely. I think I got my ass kicked uh last year, right?
I totally
Well,
forgot to pull up the stats from last year, yeah, but I think I took the
definitely felt like I think because I picked GTA and there was a few other duds in there. I think I might
yeah.
have gone Metroid again. I showed a lot of love to Metroid. It let me down both times.
Yeah, I think that's a good reason to use this site moving forward is because we've been doing it just like taking notes through like a note document and
Mm.
adding everything up manually. But now we can just have the site do all the hard work for us, and we'll use Fantasy Critic from this point moving forward. I've really been enjoying this site. We've messed around with it a little bit in the past, and it's been fun just to kind of have that easy, simplified tracking system right there. And I know people like Easy Allies and Kinda Funny, and a lot of different sites use it. So we'll make the move over to the Fantasy Critic now that I have the computer and I can actually do some production on the fly here. We got our full setup, and for anybody who doesn't know how Fantasy Critic works, it's pretty much how we've been doing the fantasy drafts in the past. We select 10 games, and then out of those 10 games, you have you add up all the points. Whoever at the end of the year has the most points when you make a counter pick. If you counter pick a bad game, you get additional points. If you counter pick a game that doesn't release, you get additional points. And then the person who gets counter picked loses the points if the game doesn't release or it is indeed bad. It's super simple. Once we get going with it, I think often with a lot of these things, the more you explain it, the more complicated it sounds. You know, like if you just do it, it's obvious, but the more you explain it, it sounds more complicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Well, how about we begin? And I want to do this all on record here as we have the. I'm going to click set draft order for the draft. And now it's going to let us choose how to set the draft order, randomly or manually. And I'm going to click randomly. So it will choose who drafts first out of you or I. And things are all started. It says start drafting. I'm going to click that. Warning, once you start the draft, you can no longer add. Okay, we got it. Let's go. The Achievers. You are first up. You get the first pick on the board, my friend Loon. What game are you selecting first in the 2026 unnecessary video game fantasy draft?
Do I roll with it again? It let me down last year.
So you picked Grand Theft Auto 6 last year, and that's one of the big errors that hurt you last year. Are you gonna let it hurt you again?
They had their boiler burst. Did you see that today?
Yeah, I saw that.
So that doesn't bode well. Oh, I'm gonna go Fable.
Fable. That is a risky, risky pick, my friend. But
It
I
it
like it.
is. It is. The reason I'm going with it, um, is Playground, man. Like, if anybody under that like Xbox umbrella of their own studios that they've, built up themselves can like pull stuff off, it's them. Like they've shown you think back to like open world like racing games and stuff like that, you wouldn't have expected them to pull off the type of it's appealing to everybody. Like
Hmm.
you cannot have any interest in racing and love Forza Horizon 5 as an example. Like it's so simple to pick up the tasks that they have you committing in the game. It just is for it's like a Lego game almost. It's why they did like the Lego expansion. It just fits. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
So I also just want it to be good.
I do
I
too.
don't think it will be good. That's the thing. This is just a shot in the dark, really. But I'll go with that because it'll at least get some points on the board. Because if I choose GTA 6 again and it gets delayed,
Yeah.
it's pointless.
I I mean, I have so many curiosity points with this. I don't know if I'm worried per se. I think there's areas to be concerned. I hear a lot of people being like, I'm concerned about the writing, I'm concerned about the humor. I'm like, I'm not really. I think that's one of the easier parts to nail. I think the harder thing is like you're going to be compared to The Witcher 3. You're going to be compared to like RPGs have changed a lot since 2004, I guess 2011, 2010 when Fable 3 released. Like a lot has changed in terms of expectations for a AAA third person big budget RPG and it's like do you have the ability to really create the choice and consequence? Do you have the ability to really? I hope so. I mean, we've seen studios like Guerrilla go from making Killzone to making Horizon Zero Dawn, and then like so it's not that these things can't happen. These developers are extremely talented, but man, I'm so curious to see this developer direct on Thursday. So to be clear, we're recording this before the developer direct. So if this releases after the developer direct, who knows? We opinions may change wildly one way or the other.
Mm, yeah, just hope is good. It's always difficult as well because with the comparison you drew with Gorilla, like at least they were starting their own IP. When you're picking up something that already existed, comes with its own difficulties as
Totally.
well. So,
100%, man. So Fable is on the board for you, my friend. A very, very risky first pick, but one that could pay off in a big way if they are able to hit that quality bar that people are hoping for.
mm,
All right, so now it's my turn on the board. So you left me with a really tough choice of do you select Grand Theft Auto 6 in the hopes that it releases in 2026 and oh my goodness. You know, I mean I got to, dude. I know it's like this is even riskier than Fable. Like without a doubt this is riskier than Fable. But at the same time, you just in the same way like you last year, you know what I mean? Like you
mm,
had to select it last year because if it does come out, it's going to do gangbusters. It's going to light the world on fire in terms of the critical response. I don't really have any doubt about that. You know, I understand that it's not Dan Houser writing it or it's there's been staff changes, but it's not like that. Sure, that's true, but it's not like they're not going out and finding the best of the best of the best in the industry to replace these people. Like it's they're staffed up to the gills and they still have a lot of senior talent. I mean, Sam Hauser's still there. You know, it's they got a lot of that old blood still in the building, and they're the new staff that they're hiring up, I assume, are state of the art, top of their class, and I just don't really have any doubt that it's going to be great. My doubt is does it release in 2026, and I I feel like it's a 50-50 thing. You know what I mean? I don't really know one way or the other if it's going to release, but I just can't. I can't let you have it in a fucking second pick.
mm. Yeah, it's a tough one. It is a tough one.
All right. So GTA 6 on the board for the Ramblers and Fable on the board for the Achievers. You have the next pick, my friend.
It's kind of weird. I have to refresh every time.
Yeah, I
I
do
think
too.
it's still saying you have a pick.
It's still
Next
saying it.
draft to the Ramblers.
Oh shit, did it do Snake Draft? Okay, so that means it goes you, me, you. Yeah, okay. Um
Interesting.
so
Wiggle wiggle.
all right. Ooh, okay, that puts me in a really tough spot because now I oh goodness, I wasn't prepared for this. You know what, dude? Fuck it. I'm giving you two layups for counter picks, but fuck it. I'm taking Half Life 3. If it comes out, do I think it's going to come out? I don't know. But if it comes out, I
Oof.
have to have it on. And so it's just what it's titled as here is unannounced mainline Half Life game.
Mm.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be Half-Life, 3. It can be
Yeah, whatever title they go with and
right.
stuff like that, whatever.
Exactly. And it's the same thing of if it releases, you're talking about a 93. If Grand Theft Auto 6 releases, you're talking about mid 90s. If I get these two on the board, it secures guaranteed victory. Unless somehow they just massively disappoint with GTA 6 or Half-Life, which I just have a tough time seeing either of those games massively disappointing. Like, could they disappoint a little bit? And could it be a situation where they're a 91 instead of a 96? Sure. But you're still talking about 90s. You know what I mean? So, like, I just, yeah. I know it's very, very risky, two extremely risky picks back to back. And usually I wouldn't do this, but it just, who knows, right? Does the Steam machine get delayed? Does it get canceled entirely? Do they feel like, okay, well, if we're not going to launch the Steam machine, we're not going to launch Half-Life 3? I doubt it though. Like, I think that the Steam machine, it's not going to be like some massive success. So hundreds of
I
millions of people.
think I think if they canned the machine, they kind of go back to that thing of they're not bothered if it doesn't release. They just print free money
Yeah.
regardless. And this is why it's taken them so long because there's no rush to get it out. They kind of just throw ideas out. If the machine comes out, yeah, you kind of have to have that as like a big incentive, launch it exclusively on there for a period of time to make people buy it. Um, but yeah, it's it's up in the air that in itself with obviously everything that's going on in the economy, hardware wise. It was meant to be. There's like all these rumors swirling around that they were meant to announce it here, announce it there, and then they're kind of like, no, hold off, hold off, hold off. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
see how it goes.
it's a tough thing because like they're not it'll be Steam exclusive, no doubt, but it won't be Steam machine exclusive. So that's my only theory of like, do you just release it anyway since it's done? Like the Steam machine, I understand canceling because you're like, I don't want to charge $1,000 to like I get that. I get Valve being like, we don't want to release this thing for $1,000. That's insane. A thing that's less powered than a PS5 or a Series X for $1,000 on the market. Like, why are we even doing this? I get that, but if Half-Life 3 is done, you already got hundreds of millions of people ready to go on Steam. Like, I don't know. I feel like if it's done, you just release it. But that's the theory that it's been done 100 times before and they've canned it because they weren't satisfied with it. So yeah, I could be giving you a layup of a counter pick here.
I mean, it depends what I pick. Maybe I'll pick some complete duds. Um, I'm gonna go risky with this next one again. Oh no, I won't. I'll go easy for this. I think I'll get this one locked in. I think Forza Horizon 6 is gonna land well. I don't think they've ever reviewed poor.
No.
So why is it not? There we go.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean it's just back to back. That's the only thing I wonder about. Playground splitting development, and I'm sure they staffed up in order to do so, but splitting development between Fable and Forza. And that's like the rumor right now is that they're prioritizing Fable a bit more
Mhm.
than Forza, like in trying to get it out on PS5
But
day one. And
which makes sense
yeah,
because it's you've perfected the formula, really. Like all you need to do is tweak it a little bit. Like it's the perfect open world racing game.
mm-hmm.
There's a reason it's sold like hotcakes. You look at, I think you must have seen the charts where it was like all the games they ported over to PlayStation. There's a reason that thing shifted units
Yep.
because there's no other racing game like it on the market.
No, not even. I mean, the crew, I guess, is the only thing, but it's not on that level of quality at all.
Nope.
Yeah.
Um, right. This is going to be the risky one, but I'm. This is a heart pick as well. Crimson Desert. I've heard
Hmm.
so many really strong early previews of people going in and they've got their hands on it. Um, and they've been really impressed. And there was kind of murmurings that it was a little bit rough in one of the look arounds. But the latest one that I saw was, it's really in a good spot, supposedly, with what they played. Um, and it just looks so ambitious.
Yeah, it
And like if
does.
they can land 80% of that,
Hmm.
there's a reason that things get overlooked in games when they're a little bit rough. Because if you can enjoy 80% and you can see ambition and things being done before where you're like, holy shit, that is like next level, you can excuse like a stutter here and there.
Hmm.
Like there's a reason, like with Breath of the Wild and stuff like that, people didn't lambast it for its performance issues that it had because it was extremely ambitious for the Nintendo fan base to get something like that. So could be similar to that. I expect probably like mid 80s if it does well, round about there.
My
I don't think it'll push further than that.
the thing I'm wondering about, because it's like playing The Witcher 3, right? I'm playing it right now and I'm forgiving all of the combat. Like it's who cares? It's some of the greatest quest design ever. It's some of the greatest storytelling ever. Like sure the combat's nothing to write home about. And could this be the opposite where it's the storytelling's nothing to write home about, but the combat's just god tier. I,
Mm.
but I do worry if you're talking 70 hours, twice the size of Skyrim for the open world, and it's just combat. Like there's no story to give a shit about at all. That's the one thing I worry about. Like I have no doubt this combat is going to be filthy. It just looks ridiculously fun. I just wonder if we're going to care about what we're doing at all.
I think you will. I think because what it's going to do is it's going to be recapturing like them wow moments with what we experienced with Dragon's Dogma 2,
Mm-hmm.
but on shockingly an even larger scale. Like you're seeing stuff like that where it's the with the griffins and stuff like that in Dragons, like, it's very situational. Like that's not something that you frequently run into. You have to be in a certain part of the map for them to be kind of there, and then it's kind of like a toss. You usually run into a cyclops more than anything. That's
Mm-hmm.
what usually inhabits it. Whereas it seems like you have mounts almost, like you're summoning these things and stuff like that. So you have full control over what you're doing and stuff. You're getting these constant wow moments. So I think it'll be very sticky with a lot of people.
If this has like a 7 out of 10, just a 7 out of 10 story attached to it, it could be my game of the year. Like
Mm.
it just looks ridiculously fun, and you remember how much I love Dragon's Dogma 2 without anything to chew on. Like there was no story to give a shit about. If this has anything to care about, man, I will be glued to Crimson Desert. So good pick, my friend. And now it is me on the board, I believe. So, just a quick recap. So far, you have selected Fable, Forza Horizon 6, Crimson Desert, and I have selected Grand Theft Auto 6 and Half Life. So, next up on the board, I will go with. I'm going to be really safe here, and I'm just going to grab Resident Evil Requiem.
Mm.
Um, it's coming out in a month's time. I don't really think that it's the thing, right? With Resident Evil, it it looks it looks as you would expect it to look. There's nothing about the upcoming Resident Evil game that I am like, oh my god, I can't believe they're doing X, Y, and Z. But in a way, it's kind of the RGG thing. It's kind of the Yakuza thing. It's like,
The Forza Horizon thing, like when you've worked out a formula, like they rejigged their formula with Resident Evil 7 because it needed to be done. You couldn't keep, you'd reached the ceiling with Resident Evil 6. Like you can't release another game of that ilk in the mainline entries and then expect it to be perceived well. Like nobody seems to be tired of that formula yet because it has such quality tied to it.
mm-hmm,
It's kind of the thing of like you could probably argue they could milk that continuously moving forward now because they've found a baseline repetitive thing that people just enjoy. There's not like that's kind of like a teething issue or that's kind of irksome. Like they offer both now, first and third person. Like they've just perfected it.
Yeah.
Like you said, that was perfect with the RGG comparison. It's like they don't really need to shift anything up. They can choose to do that, which is what they did with the turn-based, but they
Yep.
don't have to be forced into that.
And that's exactly what I was about to say too with the turn based with RGG of like there is going to come a certain point where it's just like with anything. Video game fans are fickle. We like to build something up and then tear it down. It's a weird a weird thing, but and you know, it's not even necessarily building something up to tear it down. It's I think you just get too many cookies is still too many cookies. Like you can have a cookie once a week and it's like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. But if you have a cookie every single day, it's not as good. You know what I mean? So I do think there comes a certain point where you're like, even though these games are amazing, you love the gameplay so much, you are gonna get tired of them. I don't know if that's possible for me. Like I could play this every single year and never get tired of it.
Yeah.
And but that's kind of where the benefit comes to the reviewer of, yeah, a lot of people like me are going to be reviewing these games and reviewing them very, very highly because they're just mega fans of the franchise. So I kind of, yeah, I think it'll still review highly, just probably not as highly as like RE4, you know?
No, but it doesn't need to either, really. Like, again, it doesn't need to push it to the next level. You have, with like what Assassin's Creed does and stuff like that, like, you have just a core fan base that just is happy. They don't expect change in drastic quantities. They're just happy to, oh, it's set here. Cool. I like this game. It's comfort food of a game. That is it.
Yeah.
That's why people buy COD each year. People clown them, but it's what you enjoy at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of those damn Call of Duty games, like, I will give credit where it's due. Like, they're the production value and like some there I was really blown away by what was it, Black Ops 6. I was like, damn, that was the first one I'd ever played because it was on Game Pass. I'm not like a Call of Duty guy. And I jumped in. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they put so much money into this. I mean, of course, it makes hand over fist money, but like, I couldn't believe the level of like the cinematic quality, the cutscene quality. I was like, holy shit, I'm stunned by that. And that's just the campaign. So like, yeah, I obviously the multiplayer is incredibly sticky, and it's just like you said, it's about people having their preferences. And Resident Evil is a damn solid comfort food item to have on a regular basis. So I will select it, and then I have another pick back to back on the board. And for this one, you know, man, I'm gonna go very safe once again. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go Sorrows, the
Mm.
upcoming game from Housemark after the success of Returnal, the absolute critical success, not overly successful in terms of commercial success, like it's not some mega hit franchise, or which is why they're not making a Returnal 2, but they're pretty much making a Returnal 2. They are taking the entire design ethos, that entire, I mean, build of that game seemingly, and shifting it over to Sorrows with a new IP, a new character, a new world. And I think that's smart. I think that that's something we need to see more of as well. That I'm excited about that Year of the Dragon game, or Gang of Dragon, whatever it's called, that's coming from the Nagoshi, you know, the
Mm.
one of the creators of Yakuza, just kind of taking an idea like with Judgment. I was really, really excited for Judgment because it's taking an idea, a design style, but putting a new coat of paint on it. And that's exactly what is taking place here with Sorrows. And I mean, Returnal is viewed as like one of the greatest games of the generation. You know what I mean? By people who really dove in there and played it. Returnal, like a lot of people say, Returnal is the best PlayStation 5 game, period. And so if they're able to recreate that, and I think Returnal is high 80s in terms of its Metacritic
Mm.
scores. So if we can get something like that again with Sorrows, I think that we're going to be eating pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it's held really highly. I don't think it sold particularly all that well,
No,
unfortunately.
I don't even think it cracked a
Um,
million units.
yeah, I don't know what the budget was, but it's clearly they can see something there that they've given them another shot, and that's the main thing. They didn't just go, "Oh, here's a live service game. Go do that then." There's nothing lost.
Yep.
Um, Hopefully, this is just they get that second shot and it sells shitloads of copies.
I sure hope so, man. Because they're a deserving team, and I remember they were about to shut down at one point. Housemarque is about to have to shut down at one point, and so they're deserving of a real big hit.
Do you have another pick, or is it me?
Should be you. Let me refresh.
Yep,
Perfect.
is me. Alrighty. I think I'm gonna go Blood of the Dawnwalker.
Hmm.
Um, oh, but I have to spell it all out. There's so many things. Blood of the Dawnwalker.
Yeah, man.
Always have a soft spot for vampires. Um, wow, it says hype factor 34. Wake up, people. Um, it's kind of weird. The reception for the game, it seems like a lot of people are excited, and I love it. A lot of people are formulating things in their head, even though the developers have already like squashed them worries, the whole time counter thing. And they've like hammered on again and again and again that people are like, oh, I don't want to be rushed through the game. And it's like, it's just essentially what they've crafted is you complete the quest and then that moves forward time. And you are
Mm.
made fully aware of when these things that you can explore the world are 100 hours. The time won't move. So just keep that in mind. Um, it's just it's just good to see what they can do next because this is ex CDPR, right?
Yep. I believe it was the one of the leads from The Witcher 3 who founded the
Mm.
studio.
And they left The Witcher on a DLC fully revolving around the richness of vampires.
Yep.
And they really cultivated that perfectly because we were talking about it behind the scenes of the the richness of the Witcher's world in general. And I gave the example of like, yeah, even vampires, man. There's like Ekimaras and stuff like that, and Nekarats. It's not just, oh yeah, there's vampires in our world. There's class systems of their vampires, of things that aren't sentient, are just bloodthirsty beasts, and then ones that can formulate plans and, infiltrate courts and stuff like that. So I have no worry that they can oversee something and craft a really damn good vampire story, which we don't get enough of.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like looking at the gameplay now, I believe the main character's name is Cohen, or I don't, I'm not 100% certain, but the main character of Blood of the Dawnwalker. I don't want to spoil anything for, Blood and Wine, but it's a lot like one of the main characters you encounter in Blood of the Wine. I mean, like if you look at the design of the character, the look of the character, the black hair, the slick back, like holy shit, it sure looks a lot like a certain character you run into in Blood and Wine. But dude, yeah, I'm very, very excited for this. I another one that I certainly have worries about in terms of like releasing in general. I worry, is it going to release? I worry about the combat quality. I think that that's the one thing when looking at the trailers. I'm like, yeah, combat doesn't look that great, but neither is the combat in The Witcher 3. So it's like, as long as you got the narrative chops, then I am there day one, which I'm there day one for this regardless. I got to see how it turns out.
Yep. And then it's me again, right? It's
Yes,
2-2.
sir. You again.
Alrighty. There's a few like ones that you probably would expect people to pick, but they're big question marks for me personally. I'm gonna go safe. I'm gonna go Neo 3.
Mm,
Um, they they just review really well.
they do
Like
actually.
it's to a lot of people who don't follow the series or don't care about Souls likes, they're like, oh, another Souls like. It's like, yeah, but it's from one of the ones that are highly. It's like, yeah, it's not FromSoft, but it's what most people consider the second best thing. Um, and yeah, they're like high 80s. That's what they usually come in at. So yeah, and I don't imagine that it's going to be a step backwards for them at all. They kind of just have perfected what they've perfected, their mixture blend of Souls-like and almost like Borderlands looter shooter, but it's not obviously shooting. It's all melee combat. It's just really sticky. Have you played Neo?
Nah, not my bag, but it's definitely got a grand spectacle to it in this trailer.
Mm, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you now have Neo 3 as your fifth selection on the board, and I will go with hmm. So I've got just some behind the scenes details here. I've got my first five all or my first four all checked off. The like the top four games I wanted, I got all of them checked off. So I'm feeling good about the first few selections here. And now I feel like, man, I'm going to go safe for this next pick. I'm going to go Lego Batman. I think that this Lego Batman game is going to be absolutely filthy. It's got an early 2025 release date, so we know it's going to drop this year. No worries about getting delayed out of the year. Might get delayed again, but I don't think it'll get delayed until February of 2027 or whatever. We've seen a lot of gameplay of it. It seems like they're taking a lot from, the Arkham design
Mm,
sensibility for the combat and trying to make Lego game combat feel a little bit better to play. I think that would be one of the main critiques that you would levy out there. But it's like, it's a fucking Lego game. Who cares? Is going to be the main response from people. And I understand that. But as an adult coming to play these games, like I would like the combat to be a little bit more fleshed out, a little bit more interesting, and it seems like they're doing just that. Big open world, different Batmobiles, and just, yeah, it looks so unbelievably charming, so unbelievably fun.
yeah, which you gotta hand it to them. Like they took a big stride forward with the Skywalker saga. Like there was a lot of gameplay improvements and changes that they ended up tackling there. It wasn't kind of just a, oh yeah, this is just another Lego game. It was
Mm-hmm.
their most ambitious project, and this seemingly is going to be just as big, maybe even bigger. So it's going to be very interesting. My only worry, the spec requirements, saying that they recommend 32 gigabytes of RAM is like, okay. Um, one for a Lego game, and two, have you not been paying attention like recently, guys? Usually it's like 16 is what has been around for so long. Why 32? Like what's going on here? Like is this like even more ambitious than anyone seemingly imagined, or are we
Yeah.
just like not bothering with optimization anymore in any way, shape, or form?
Damn
It's
particle
a bit
effects.
worrying.
We gotta have those Legos. We gotta have
Yeah,
them
them
all.
POWs and WAPOWs are taking up a lot of system.
That's so fucking funny. All right, so I got the old Lego Batman on the team, and now next up, I feel like I can get a little bit riskier. Pick one that I think there's a high likelihood of this getting delayed out of 2026, but if it does drop in 2026, I want it on the team. And that is Marvel's Wolverine. Gonna go ahead and select old Wolvie. And this is just a thing of like, the only way it's going to get delayed, I think it's ready to go for this year. Like, I do think that it's on track to release this year. I think the only way it gets delayed is if GTA 6 actually does hit November. And if this was planning for sometime around late October, early November, then I think they'll push it to February or even January maybe if GTA 6 does come out, because I don't remember uh did you see that Jason Schreier report where he was like PlayStation is looking at Grand Theft Auto 6 as an exclusive?
Mhm.
And I think that a lot of people misinterpreted what he was trying to say there. I think he was trying to say, like, when you look at a Wolverine, they're
Yeah, you don't
prioritizing.
put. They're treating it as if it's their own IP, so you're not gonna cannibalize your own product. You don't care
Exactly.
about what anyone else is selling around that time because you'll get your cut. But it's like don't shoot your own IPs in the leg.
Yeah.
Get them out of the way.
Yep, exactly. I think he was pretty much just saying like, listen, GTA 6 is more important to us than Wolverine, which is like
Hmm.
that's crazy, and I think that that would constitute as looking at it as like, yeah, this is we look at this as valuable as any exclusive game that we have ever released is how we look at Grand Theft Auto 6. So, I think they will push a Wolverine or a Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls out of 2026 if it
Yeah.
means getting out of the way of Grand Theft Auto 6.
I
So,
don't know why so many people were like shocked by that.
yeah.
GTA 6 will have more of an impact in convincing somebody to buy a PS5 than Wolverine would.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, I get that that's like a slight against PlayStation themselves, but it's just the way it is. Like, GTA is the biggest thing.
Yeah. In the history of video games, we're never going to see a launch like that again. So you probably want to move your damn game out of the way if you can do so. But so on the board, my double pick is going to be Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight, and Marvel's Wolverine. Two superhero games from different universes, but back to back super picks. Loon, what you got next, my friend?
I'm gonna give some love to some JRPG, and it's from I believe this is Octopath's developers, The Adventures of Elliot,
Hmm.
the Millennium Tales, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, I forgot all about that game.
Adventures of Elliot.
That.
Um, oh, hype factor 24. I don't think it's going to be obviously something that's going to sell tons and tons of copies, but like Octopath really reviewed highly the past few games. I think Zero did really well as well. Um, so yeah, if it's any way even just close to that, you know what your fan base is going to, because it doesn't really matter if like a smaller grouping of people review it. If anything, that's better because then
Mm-hmm.
it won't be hit with people who don't really like it because it's not really a title that stands out. It's not like a Final Fantasy where people can come and go, I don't like this. It's probably only going to be picked up by those that know it exists and care about it. That makes sense.
I think it looks cool, man. Like
Mm,
I'm even compelled by looking at this trailer. I kind of forgot how good it looked. It is
mm.
really, really pretty, man. Just it's pretty to look at. The combat looks engaging, fun. Yeah, I might even jump into this as someone who is not a I'm not a big JRPG guy at all, but like even to me, this looks fun. Looks
Yeah,
charming.
I just love their style of like HD 2D stuff and pixel art and just they've really perfected it. Um, yeah, it's one of my favorite art styles for a
Mm.
JRPG.
Yeah, it's very, very pretty. And then going with like more action oriented combat. Like
Mm.
this looks very much up my alley. Well, not up my alley, but something I might be curious about picking up. Um, Plus new IP, giving some love to a new
Mm.
IP. There's not many new IP on the board that we have selected so far. So shout out to the adventures of Elliot. And you're back on the board again with another pick, my friend.
Mm. I gotta lock in a Nintendo property. Um, I'm gonna go Duskbloods.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll come out. This is gonna probably shoot me in the foot though, because I think it's gonna be the one of the lower received FromSoft IPs ever.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be even more divisive than Dark Souls 2 was for a lot of people. Um, However, the Switch audience hasn't. If like you're only on the Switch, you've only experienced Dark Souls remastered and stuff like that. I don't even know if Dark Souls 3 and stuff are on the Switch. Not sure. But I know Dark Souls Remastered came out, so it's something that like they didn't get Demon Souls, they haven't had Bloodborne and stuff like that. And it is a bit of a weird it's the Souls like that you probably expect, but it's in like a weird genre as well. A lot of it's like heavily revolving around multiplayer, which is not something that resonates with Nintendo. They're more couch co-op, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, not plunging your sword in the back while someone's praising the sun kind of fan base. But you know, who knows? Maybe they'll channel their inner demon.
Well, and I mean, I think it's also like it's not the strength of FromSoft either, you know. So you got it's not the strength of Nintendo as a hardware manufacturer to create seamless online co-op experience. It's not the strength of FromSoft to create a seamless online co-op experience. There's hardware limitation. There's a lot of really, really interesting elements that are going to make for potentially. I mean, if this thing hits, because, like, once again, looking at the trailer right now, it looks spectacular. Like, world building, because we know the Switch 2 is an incredibly, incredibly powerful handheld system. Like, ridiculously powered for that price. There's nothing else on the market that's comparable. But like, if you I we'll see, man. I don't want to, because I was gonna say if you're expecting typical FromSoft level quality for Duskbloods, you're gonna be surprised. But then again, I who am I to doubt FromSoft? And their fan base, it's the same thing that we've talked about 100 times. The fan base of Returnal is gonna play Sorrows. The fan base of X Game, like, it's going to be reviewed by the most diehard fans of the FromSoft formula. So who knows? You know, maybe it just reviews highly. It gets a little FromSoft bump in the way that Nintendo gets a little
Mm,
Nintendo bump, in the way that,
they
Atlas
don't
gets an Atlas bump.
they don't always get that bump. Night Rain did come in at like the lower 80s,
Okay.
mostly 70s for other platforms. So like they do critique the games. They're very vocal. They don't blindly just support. But it's the weird thing of like it reviewed fairly, but it's grown to be loved. What is it? It's almost a year later after release now. A lot of people have warmed up to Night Rain. So maybe they'll be more loving to Duskbloods because they're like, oh yeah, I get this. This is kind of similar to that, in a way. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's just a thing, not necessarily of the reviewers blindly going in. It's just, I think when you're a fan of something, you tend to be more forgiving than someone just coming in from the outside and being like, not having that pre-existing bias. Like, you can't put me on well, you can if you want a high review for a Resident Evil game, put me on a Resident Evil review. But like, I, that's a different discussion for a different day. But I do sometimes think it's more fascinating. Like, let's put someone
But
who
you,
isn't a fan of Resident Evil on a
but
Resident
if
Evil
it's a
review.
shift though, because if they put you in and you were reviewing Resident Evil Reverse, you wouldn't speak highly of that just because it has the Resident Evil tag, because it's not the Resident Evil that you would want.
True, very true.
So there is definitely a limit because the user scores are lower than the review scores for Night Rain.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the sixes for a lot of things. Um, so yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be a very interesting thing to see if it does well on the Switch.
Yeah, I agree. Um. Okay. Next up on the board for me, I am gonna go with Reanimal. Um, this is coming from Tarsier, the creators of Little Nightmares, and it is releasing very soon. I think it's
Mm.
releasing in February, if I'm not mistaken. And Little Nightmares 1 and 2 are excellent, excellent video games. I'm expecting Reanimal to be in a fucking incredible, co-op, and it's, single player as well, played in co-op or single player, but an excellent just horror adventure game, puzzle solver, incredible top tier atmosphere, and I have very high hopes for this. Like, I'm expecting mid to high 80s on this thing. I wouldn't be surprised if this came in at like a 86, 87. I think this is going to be reviewed really, really highly. One of the sleeper hits of 2026. It's not even really a sleeper hit. Like, I think that people are aware of this. THQ has done a really good job marketing it, getting out there in different showcases and getting it in front of as many eyeballs as possible, because Little Nightmares 1 and 2 are, both games that went on to sell 10 plus million copies. So, yeah, I'm hoping that this has similar success.
Yeah, it's like again, just it will tap into its fan base
Mm-hmm.
that knows that it exists, and it'll benefit greatly from that.
Absolutely, man. Okay, so it's me again on the board.
Yep.
All right, Loon. This is where we get a bit risky.
I see.
Yeah, because the game I really want to pick, I have a lot of worries about it.
I didn't know you was that big of a Gears of War fan.
Nah, not Gears of War. Although, I mean, I don't think Gears of War is necessarily a bad pick right now. I,
Hmm.
hmm, I'm gonna go 007 First Light.
Oh,
I have
I'm staying
so
away
many.
from that.
Say what?
That I was staying away from that.
Yeah, I have a lot of worries about this game. Primarily just the performance. The performance is going to
Mm.
be the thing that tanks this game critically. I I worry about the because once again we're playing the game of trying to guess the reviewer as much as we are trying to play a game of guessing how good it's going to be. Because guessing the reviewer on this is tough. Because do you send in the Hitman fanboys and fangirls to review this? And are they going to be disappointed because there's a story and there's like, it's not going to be as in-depth mechanically. And like they are prioritizing narrative and shooting and more things mechanically from the sense of like what you expect an Uncharted or a Tomb Raider to play like. And so it's going to pull back a little bit of the depth. And then if you send in the Uncharted fan to review this, are they going to be a little bit bummed out that it's not as action packed or it's not as cinematic? And it's like, I'm really, really curious how this lands. I hope that they can marry that coupling as perfect as possible, but that's a tough, those are tough grounds to walk. And I don't know if this is going to necessarily appeal to, I think it's going to appeal to me perfectly. Like when I look at this and the thing I wish I like the Hitman games of just getting in there, dicking around and looking at it as a sandbox to not really care about anything at all and just mess around with mechanics. But like, there's nothing to latch onto. There's nothing to really get invested in for me. And so to have like a story with some of those mechanics and that in-depth kind of sandbox design still being in there, like that's very appealing to me. But I don't know if it'll be appealing to the majority of people. And plus, the performance is probably going to be atrocious because once again, this is releasing day one on the Switch 2. So that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, that is my biggest worry. I kind of perceive it like it feels because I think a lot of people have a little bit of a worry with it. There's some people obviously going in with like, hell yeah, it's my most hyped game. I think it's gonna kind of land roundabout where like Guardians of the Galaxy landed, just like slap bang on like 8 when it reviews in. I doubt. I would be shocked if it dipped into the sevens and stuff like that because it's just gonna have, like you said, it's the Hitman DNA blended in with Uncharted. That even like if it runs poorly, like you're still gonna have fun playing the game.
Mm.
With the booming set pieces of the cars and stuff like that. It's just constantly moving you forward and then slowing it down for little intrigue sections. I think it'll do enough.
Yeah, I think the only worry is the performance. I think the performance is the only thing that can get this into the sevens. Um, but yeah, other than that, I think you're talking about like a 9 out of 10 game. But if it has 5 out of 10 performance, then it's like, yeah, you're you're gonna be in the sevens or maybe even I don't think it'll be like 60s, but I could see it being like 74 if it's just atrocious, completely unoptimized. So 007 First Light is going to be my selection. Loon, you were on the board, my friend.
All right, let's get some indie love in here. I'm gonna go Mouse PI.
Mm.
I would be very, very, very shocked if this got pushed back again. I think they've kind of locked it in, um, kind of oozing the similar vibes of like a boomer shooter kind of thing, right? The
Mm.
kind of old school shooter and like a Wolfenstein and stuff like that in their original concepts. Just Steamboat Willie, really cool, artistic. I don't think it's gonna blow people away. Maybe there's like another layer to it that we don't know, like some of these indie games do add a little bit of extra sauce. But even if it is just that shooter, like it'll be perceived well, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure, because it's just like, oh, that's nice. That's a nice spin on it. It's like what was it, Cuphead? That's just a brutal kind of like in the same vein of like a very tough game in like Super Meat Boy and that kind of realm, and it just it resonates with them kinds of fans
Mm-hmm.
that just want that.
Yeah, it's just a gorgeous art style. Dropping March 19th for, um, I think pretty much every platform. So I think that it's going to come down to, is the boomer shooter thing enough to carry it, or is that going to surprise us? Is it going to be a little bit more BioShock? Is it going to be a little bit more like, interesting level design and detective work and just having more to dive into on a systems level than we're expecting? I would kind of hope so.
Mm.
All right. And you got another pick, my friend.
Yeah, and this is where I'm kind of struggling. mm, I'll show some love. If this comes out, I think it'll review higher than that first one. I think they've learned a lot from what they did, and that's Lords of the Fallen 2.
Hmm.
They definitely bit off more than they can chew with that first game in the beginning. Um, Finding their footing and the fact that it obviously wasn't the original creators, it was a different team picking up the IP and moving forward with it. But that 2.0 launch and stuff like that, and everything that they were chipping out month after month of like, yeah, okay, we can see like the fans could see the vision, it just wasn't there. And it was nice that every single few months it was like, here's an update where we've listened to you completely. Here's a bunch of free stuff as well, and like it just really well done. The only thing that never really was addressed, unfortunately, was the Unreal Engine optimization. Because even with that 2.0 launch, I remember co-oping through the entire game with a friend, and it has obviously that dual world system. If you die in human form and it rips you into that other world, the game just chugged in certain areas of the map. It never, I don't think they can ever iron it out. It's just that thing of like you're squeezing every little drop out of this engine and it's screaming in pain back. But I think they've perfected the formula of what they want to do, where they've distanced themselves enough from FromSoft in the same way that Team Ninja did with Neo. Like they're their own thing, you know. And anybody that blindly just compares the two, it's like a rip off is it's a little bit disingenuous, in my opinion.
It's we're at a tough spot because I just don't really. The games that I have left, the ones I really want to select, I don't trust that they're going to release in 2026.
That's the bigger thing, isn't it? That's the biggest question. It's not the fact that they'll review poorly. It's
Oh,
are they actually going to land? Because I'll like throw one out there. It's like I was going to pick Control
same.
instead of Lords of the Fallen. It's like, mm, I don't
Control
know.
is, yeah, that's March of 2027.
Yeah, like it's like could they? Could they? Could they? Possibly. Probably not.
Man, I'm going to go with Mina the Hollower just to get a safe pick on the board, releasing early in 2026. Um, I have no doubts that the game is at least going to be good coming from Yacht Club. And the only thing I wonder is like, are we talking? Because this is a style of indie game. When Mina the Hollower was announced, was like, oh my god, that's fresh. That looks, old school Zelda inspired. Like it looked very fresh. And then in the meantime, between its announcement to its release, there've been like 500 of these. And so is it going to be a situation of it comes out and It's like, okay, yeah, we've gotten a lot of these in the past 2 years, and this is another good one. It's a 78. I'm okay with a 78 at this pick, but I would like it to be a 84. Is kind of where
I
I'm at. Like,
mean,
I could see this being an 84 or 78, nowhere in between.
yeah, because when it comes from one of the people that heavily established it, they usually get a few extra brownie points. It's like you could because you could have applied that logic to like Hollow Knight. We've seen so many Metroidvanias since Hollow Knight first came out, the first one. Does anybody really care? Yeah, clearly. Same with like if Isaac was to get a sequel, like that would blow the doors off. It's like a Risk of Rain 3, a Dead Cells 2. Like when you've made an impact on the the genre that heavily, as they did with what was it, not Hollow Knight,
Shovel
Shovel
Knight.
Knight.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's
But just a very different style of game, and that's
mhm.
almost what I like. If they were to do a Shovel Knight 2, I would have less worry than with Mina the Hollower. It's just a lot more, it's just more ambitious. There's more going on. It's more complex, but it's also like the indie space is so tough right now because like you said, there are a million Hollow Knight likes. There are a million Shovel Knight likes. There are a million, Zelda Death's Door. And like there are a million of these games around every fucking corner. And it's like, people don't talk enough about the. Yeah, everybody's like the AAA-ification. There's, this looks like that looks like this. It's hard to really make your mark. It's hard as hell to make your mark in the indie space too, man. And I get that there's less risk attached to it, but at the same time, there is just as much risk attached to it. It's just
Mm.
not as you're not looking at it from a number standpoint, but when you look at it from an individual standpoint of like, oh, this is one person or five people creating this specific thing that they're putting their entire livelihood into, you could say that's more risk than any AAA game ever created.
I mean, I would argue there's more risk in the indie space than there is in the AAA because they have in the AAA space you have the exposure, even if they're terrible games, like or people who have massive question marks, as like an example with Marathon and stuff like that. Like it's got the Bungie name attached to it, so it just has eyes drawn onto it regardless. Whereas you have all the ones that have obviously broken through. Go look at Steam and how many releases they have. All of them indie games that just they don't make a mark. They just come and go. Maybe they get a few hundred sales and that's it. Like there's tens of thousands of them,
Absolutely.
you know? So yeah.
Well, dude, I'm back on the board again with another selection. Back to back to close out the draft. Is this my final pick? Yes, this is my final pick. Oh, God. Now the pressure feels it's stacking. Um Damn, Loon. There's two that I'm looking at that I really want. Like we talked about, I really want Control so badly. If that releases, you're guaranteed an 85. But I don't trust Control to release this year. You know what I do trust to release this year? I I'm going to scroll through this list of top available games, and I guess I'll go ahead and speak out loud what I'm thinking because it's not like it's really going to matter. I don't have another pick. Pragmata I don't think is going to be that good. Phantom Blade Zero I think has a likelihood of not coming out. Onimusha Way of the Sword is a very, very risky pick because I think that there's like, it's risky from so many different angles. It might not come out, it might be just okay. Fire
What did
Emblem,
what did a Dynasty Warriors get last year? It was kind of a right. And that's the
right?
thing of like it resonated with their fan base because it was like, yeah, return to form, and it was just like, well, it didn't do enough to break through further than that, unfortunately. which I think is what's going to be the same with Onimusha.
I think that Mugenics game might be a sleeper pick. But you know what, man? I'm gonna go with my heart. I'm gonna go with a game I really want to be great. And I'm selecting Mixtape. This is coming
Mm.
from Beethoven and Dinosaur, the creators of The Artful Escape, a game that I have been extremely excited for. Just a style of game that needs to get made. A style of game that we don't really see at all. Just the slice of life, and I know they're going for some fantastical elements with Mixtape, and that's kind of the thing that I almost find unfortunate. Like, I'd just be down to live in the early 90s with these characters skateboarding around, going and hitting some baseballs, TPing houses. Like, I have thought about that a lot, of just like, how can you
Yeah,
gamify?
I'll go out Monday and do it. I've thought about it a lot. Recapture my youth.
Oh no, no more of that for me, man. I am avoiding the law, but I've thought about that a lot, of like Dazed and Confused, that style of movie, American Pie, or even a Seinfeld. How can you gamify just existing, just a time period, capturing like a moment of your youth? And it's like, you hear all the time people say, you don't want to be that guy who's in his 40s reliving his high school years, reliving his college years, reliving the glory days. And it's like, well, they call it the glory days for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's weirder if you're the 40-year-old who is like, you have a bunch of new stories to share. It's like, well, you're done living life. At 40, dude, I can tell you, well, at least personally, like, I'm not, I don't want to go out and have go to fucking the finest nightclubs, and like, I don't want to be up at 4 in the morning absolutely shit faced doing wild shit. Like, all your wild days ended at a certain point, and like, I think it's fun to sit around and relive those moments with the people that you had those moments with, and y'all all grown up so much, and you're like, hey, yeah, my buddy who has a kid now, but you wouldn't believe back in the day, that motherfucker, like, that's beautiful to cherish in those moments. But you shouldn't continue living those moments into your 30s and 40s, and like, that's creepy, so it's like, I don't know, the idea of reliving your glory years is a bad thing. It's like, no, not at all, man. And I think that having games, movies, a lot of, specifically in the film space, so many movies are about this period of your life for a reason. It is the most fun period of your life, and then like, there's something beautiful about cherishing that. So yeah, I hope Mixtape can land, man.
Yeah, so do I. Remember we both watched it, the trailer, and was like, damn, that looks really, really damn fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems to like really be tackling like a lot of those moments that you'll forget about as you get older, like the butterflies in your stomach and the first dates and the first kisses, and like, there's it seems that they're going for a lot of that in Mixtape. And like, that's just, yeah, it's cool that a story like that is even being touched in the video game space. And it's not, I know they are having fantastical elements once again, which I kind of, that bums me out, but um it's cool that just something that grounded is even being approached at all.
Yep, absolutely. So it's me, right?
Yes, sir. Your final
So
pick.
how does this work? This I just get one now and then we do two counter picks?
Yep. So you
Or
get,
is it gonna roll into I do one and then it gives me one counter pick and then you get two counter picks and I'm left with one?
it might be that, actually. I really don't exactly know how
Okay.
the first counter pick will be rolled out, but
We will see. And I don't know what to pick either.
yeah, it's that last pick is
It's
tough.
oh man. Because there's so many question marks.
Yes, there are.
I think I'm just gonna play it really, really safe and just lock in like an easy 80
Mm-hmm.
and just go Code Vein 2
Okay.
and just get some points that I know I'm gonna get. I think there's a little bit more going on with Code Vein 2 than a lot of people realize. Like it had like vehicle sections. They weren't in like the first game at all. So there's definitely a little bit of extra effort being put in to the sequel, which is like wouldn't have expected because like I loved the first game. It was like a very safe formula. Like there was moments in that game where it was very lazy level design and stuff, and it just wasn't inspired creatively at all. It was just kind of like, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. There were some cool moments, don't get me wrong, really, really cool moments, but yeah, they seem to be doing a little bit more. So I assume it'll land in like the low 80s. So I'll take that.
You say vehicle sections, eh? That's enough to get me to play one of these damn Souls likes. Probably not, but God, anytime I see a vehicle in a game, like if you have the option to traverse with a vehicle, I'm like, ooh, 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 makes me
You
so
seen
much
Metroid
fun.
yet?
Did I do what?
Have you played that new Metroid yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't. I've just been nonstop. Pretty much the entire month, I've played nothing but The Witcher 3. Um, all right. So you got Code Vein 2. Oh, and
Yep.
then it goes to me for the first counter pick.
So it might back 1-1-1-1. I'm
Mm,
assuming now.
okay. Okay. So now, guys, this is the real task. I have to look at Loon's team. I have to look at his selections and say which of these will be the worst game released or which of these games will not release at all. And I will gain points if the game does not release. Loon will lose points if the game does not release. I will gain points if the game is bad. Loon will lose points if the game is bad. And vice versa. Like the opposite is true, obviously. Like I will lose points if say I select Fable and Fable ends up being a 94. Well, I'm fucked because I just lost a whole hell of a lot of points because I counterpicked Fable and it ended up being really good. The counterpick, this is one of the more fun elements of the entire drafting process. And it's also like, I don't think we've done this much, so I don't really know exactly. Um, okay, so there are all the available counterpicks on Loon's team. Code Vein 2, Crimson Desert, Fable, Forza Horizon 6, Lords of the Fallen 2, Mouse P.I. for Hire, Neo 3, The Adventures of Elliot, Blood of the Dawnwalker, and The Dusk Bloods. Okay. Damn, Loon. So I'm going to
I
talk.
went with a lot of safe picks this year.
Yeah, you did.
So it's definitely a lot difficult. Like these may not come in the 90s and high 80s, but makes that more spicy.
Yeah, you got some. Okay, the first one I'm going to say is fairly easy. Lords of the Fallen 2 is going to be my first counterpick. Um, yeah, that'll be my first counterpick. Lords of the Fallen 2. I think that for a number of different reasons. For one, we haven't seen any gameplay of it, I don't think. So it might just not release in 2026. And I think there's just you're starting to feel the fatigue set in with that genre. And so I even kind of think about going back to back and hitting Code Vein 2. Like, I think Neo 3 is going to be the best of the bunch. So I definitely won't counterpick that. But okay, so so it's to you now for your counter pick, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was kind of easy for me.
Yep.
Of the two, I struggle to see Half-Life releasing over GTA 6, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. So you're counter picking Half Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even really. That's fair. Um Let me refresh this. Oh, so you get back to back counter picks now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Because it's like, do you keep it simple? It just goes GTA 6,
Right.
expecting both to get delayed? Or do you roll the dice and be like, yeah, 007 First Light comes in at like a 71?
Yep. If I had to go for my team, that probably would be one of the ones I'd look at. 007.
Mm. Or it's like high roll it and with Marvel's Wolverine if GTA 6 comes out.
Mm. Yeah, that's a layer
That's
deeper.
a that's an IQ player.
Yeah.
I'll go GTA 6.
GTA 6. Fuck.
Um, I think with it just doesn't feel the the more like I kind of felt at the end of the year it's like surely it comes out and then you get into the new year and it's like I don't know, maybe not. Maybe not. It
Yeah.
just doesn't feel like a GTA year.
And with the November thing, like if this was set to come out in July, I'd feel so confident. But November? I mean, you can sneeze if you have fucking one of the lead gameplay designers. If he stubs a toe, this thing might get pushed into January. It's just, yeah,
Because they said like the skeletons made, right? Was the last like quote unquote report. Like that's all done and now it's just making the stuff like the quests happening and rolling from A to B and stuff like that. Like the side stuff and
yeah. I mean, Jason Schreier said they're still like adding shit, which is you run into such a problem there with feature creep when you have a team with literally an infinite budget, a blank check to create anything you want to create. If you're 7 months out from the game shipping and you're like, yeah, I think I want to, can we make surfing? Can we make a surfing mini game? It's like, no, fucker, we got to ship a game in a few months. So
make
I
an 8 out of 10 beer pong game where it's like really highly great physics. Yeah, let's do that.
oh
No,
God,
Jim. No.
Lord. Yeah, I was really trying to steer you towards 007 because I think you just locked into. Yeah, I think you won the draft with those two counter picks. You either won yourself the draft or lost yourself the draft with those
Mhm.
two counter picks, without a doubt. Um, and I'm playing it a lot safer. Like, I don't think if Lords of the Fallen, like, even if it releases, I don't think I'm really in trouble one way or the other, you know? And that's kind of not the direction you want to go with your counter picks. Um, you want to kind of make a riskier bid to buy yourself some serious points. Um, God, man. Like, do I just go Code Vein 2 even though it's certain to come out? Like, Code Vein 2 is right around the corner, but is it like it's probably not going to be great? Um,
I'll toss you a bone. What did the first one get?
I'm not sure.
Code Vein Metacritic.
Hmm.
It dropped to 70.
It's a 70?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I might just go Code Vein. Even though it's going to release, I might just take Code Vein. Because I think it's anything under a 70, you start getting points. So if I just lock in at a 70 and it comes out and I don't get anything, sure, that's not the end of the world. Um, and if it's like a 72, I lose 2 points, sure, that's not the end of the world. Or do I take the Duskbloods? In a weird way, like I look at the Duskbloods as
The more riskier of the two.
it's definitely more risky, but I feel like
I meant from like the developer standpoint of like guaranteeing success. Because that I think that has a lot more of a higher chance of probably landing in the sixes due to like performance woes.
or not releasing at all.
Mm. Mm. I think it will come out. I get the feeling it will come out.
I Oh, fuck. All right. Well, I can go ahead and talk you through where my brain's at. The Duskbloods, Blood of the Dawnwalker, and Code Vein 2. Those are the three that I'm tossing
And
you.
that's like free vampire gothic settings.
Blood of the Dawnwalker, the only reason I would select that is because I think it might be 2027. Code Vein 2, I would select because I just don't think it's going to be good. The Duskbloods, I would select because I think it, like you said, could have just issues and it could release in 2027. So it's kind of a. I'm gonna go.
Forza Horizon 6.
Hell no. That's like a fucking 90, guaranteed 90. Crimson Desert, I think, has a shot of not being all that great. Fable has a shot of not being all that great, but I think you're guaranteed like a 78 at the lowest with Fable. I'm going to take Blood of the Dawnwalker. Yeah, I'm going to go Blood of the Dawnwalker as my counter pick. And the reason being, number one, I think it's probably 2027 because we don't have a locked in release date yet. So in my world, where Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, a new IP from a new studio that doesn't have a release date yet, you're probably talking about a holiday release. So if GTA 6 doesn't come out, they're committing suicide by releasing this game. They're killing their entire studio if they drop it in November, October. So like if
I was gonna say it feels like a September October game for me.
yeah.
I think it will come out this year because we've seen like there was like what 30-40 minute gameplay thing. Like that's not like here's a 2.5 minute slice. Like that's moving A to B and showing stuff working, and it's not like HUDless and stuff. Like everything is in game working as intended.
Yeah.
You're just walking through a mission very slowly. So
Yeah, you absolutely like you have seen a ton of that game. So but you have seen a ton of that game look rough enough to warrant months and months and months of trying to clean it up. So the draft has been complete, my friend. We have completed the 2026 unnecessary video game fantasy draft, and now we shall see. To the victor go the spoils, and we'll join here January of 2027 and see how things turn out. But Loon, do you want to read off your selections, my friend?
yep. So my first pick was Fable, and then Forza Horizon 6, Crimson Desert, Blood of the Dawnwalker, Neo 3, The Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales, The Duskbloods, Mouse PI, Lords of the Fallen 2, Code Vein 2, and then the counter pick was your Half-Life game and GTA 6. So there we go.
Perfect. And oh yeah, duh, my dumbass. I was on the wrong screen. So yeah, there's Loon's team right there, and then my team. My first pick was Grand Theft Auto 6, into Half-Life, into Requiem, then Soros, then Dark Knight, the Batman Lego shit. Marvel's Wolverine was after that. Reanimal was after that. First Light 007 was after that. Mina the Hollower. And then Mixtape was my final selection. So there you have it, my people. The 2026 Vigigame Fantasy Draft on the board is complete. And now put your bets in the comments down below. Let us know who you think is going to take home the championship. I think you have beat me. I don't remember. We've been doing this for what, 3 years now? 4 years?
I think it's two. I did back-to-back, right? Victories. And then last year, when we did it, I think would have resulted in a loss for me. So I rolled the dice a lot.
Perfect. So,
but we didn't look. Who knows? Maybe I scraped it somehow.
Well, we'll have everything recorded with the Fantasy Critic for next year to come and look at without having to do a bunch of math for no fucking reason. But yeah, man, I appreciate you for joining me, Loon. We're about to hop on over to your channel. Loon's channel is in the description below, so go and check it out. We're about to hop on over there and do the 2004 video game, another draft that we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about our games of the year for 2004. So go and check Loon's channel out for that and a bunch of other content that he is creating over there. And yeah, lock in, subscribe to both of the channels, drop some likes, some hype buttons. I've noticed that that's a thing now. There's a hype button that does seem to work. Like, it's the videos that have done the best for me lately are the videos that are hyped the most. So if you will, please hype this video. I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, appreciate you guys, and I shall see you good people in the next episode. Goodbye.